Hello and welcome to Joie de Vivre. I'm Ruth Chadwick, and today I just want to talk about some simple grounding methods that you can use to help yourself out. The American Psychological Association recently came out with their annual study on stress in the United States, and they found that people have a lot more stress around global uncertainty. So these are definitely crazy times we're living through, and it's important. It's not just important for yourself, but for the world to stay grounded. So number one is reduce your media intake. Now, that might be common sense, but I just want to explain a little bit more about why this is so important. Okay. We all know that the media can be toxic, especially in large quantities. Doom scrolling. I mean, the reason the word exists, the term exists, is because let's face it, doom scrolling is how we get ourselves into a downward spiral from just going through all the headlines or going onto social media and looking at everybody ranting or despairing or what have you. And the thing about it, though, is that 15 years ago, there wasn't this 24/7 access to information all the time. News headlines, blow by blow reports about what's happening in every corner of the globe. And so we really did get our news in these very specific time frames. Maybe you got the morning news, or maybe you watched the evening news on TV, but regardless, you weren't just being bombarded by these horrible messages all day, every day. And now there's almost this addictive aspect to going onto the news. So being constantly injected with these updates, which are of course never positive. I mean, let's face it, the news is all bad. What we're being fed is all bad. That's affecting your nervous system. And so it's keeping you in a heightened state, in a fight-flight state, more than you need to be. Because every time you get the latest update, it just sends you into a fear state. Okay, so that's that's the news itself, like the news cycle, and then you might go on to social media and you see everyone else's opinions about that. And so there's a viral aspect to fear and anger. The more fear, and this is how the algorithms are set up, right? So the more fear, the more excited or agitated the posts are, the more they go viral. And what that means is that everyone who is plugging in to this source is getting more and more jacked up. Now, the more jacked up we are on adrenaline, cortisol, what have you, the less we are able to be grounded, the less we are able to have perspective, to calm down. And we are literally in a state where we feel like there is an immediate threat. That's what our nervous system is registering. I understand that wanting to be informed is, a lot of people want to be informed, but it is about just the way that we used to get our news in very specific times and very specific increments. You need to do that for yourself. And the same with social media. Schedule it literally once a day maximum. I mean, and that, I would say, once a week would be ideal. If anything truly earth-shattering is happening, you'll find out from your spouse or your friend or someone. So unplug. And unplugging makes it easier to be plugged into the present moment. Okay, and that's where calm and grounding exists. It doesn't exist in the news cycle or on social media. So start off small. If you can't limit yourself to one specific time of day, then at least start by setting times when you can't go on, right? So let's say after, you check the headlines in the morning, fine. You can't go on until noon or whatever it is for you that seems reasonable. So start out slow like that, in small ways, and then build from there until you can get to a point where you realize how much better you feel without being plugged in. There's a peace that comes with not being plugged in all the time. Number two, once you've unplugged, okay, literally and seriously, put your feet on the floor. Okay. This is literal grounding. And a lot of health practitioners are actually talking about grounding as a practice. And what this means is, ideally, it means going outside and putting your bare feet on the earth, because it's connecting to nature is what we really need to do more of in general, because part of what keeps us disconnected from ourselves and from our sense of peace is being disconnected from nature. So going outside, putting your feet on the earth and really feeling into the earth for about 10 minutes a day, if you can do that. Now, the experts on grounding will say that if you can't go outside and stand on actual earth, meaning soil and grass, concrete is the next best thing. Wood, they say, is not an ideal conductor for some reason, for the energy that we're looking for, the grounding energy, but concrete would be the next best thing. So if you live in an apartment building and there's some concrete you can go stand on, or some stone, something like that, then that would be the next best thing. And again, without your shoes on, because you're wanting to get the literal grounding effects of being connected to the earth. And once you have contact with the earth, literally, do a body scan and start feeling the gravity holding you there in your feet, through your feet, and do a body scan all the way up your body, so that you can feel gravity pulling you and you can feel yourself being held by gravity. That has a literal grounding effect. And so once you've felt yourself embodied, you've connected to your body through this body scan, starting from the feet all the way up to your head, you can remind yourself that right here, right now, everything is okay. And if you can really feel into that, like in your body, everything is okay, right here, right now, your feet on the floor, you are in this moment, feet on the ground, everything is okay. The thing that we forget is that we live in the present. Fear is about the future, and there is no future. We are in the present. The present is where we are now, and it's where we are now okay. So the more we can return to the present, the better. So the third way to be grounded is to get out of your head and into your body. Now, you just did that through grounding, but you can also do that through movement. So taking a walk, something as simple as taking a walk, but also being mindful of your body as you're walking. Or you can go to the gym, going to the gym, but really tuning into your body at the gym, like feeling how your body feels when you are on the machines or lifting weights or what have you, feeling your strength in your body, or in an exercise class, yoga class or a dance class, or just putting music on in your house and dancing around. But all of these things have the same effect, which is shaking us out of our mind, because our minds are where they're spinning all of these narratives that keep us on edge, that keep us anxious or scared. So getting into our bodies, shaking ourselves out of our thoughts, that is a great way to ground yourself. And it's simple, and you can do it anytime. Go for a run, go for a walk, just dance. It's another great way. Here's another grounding exercise that can be very, very soothing. And that is to simply lie down on the floor in your apartment, your home, what have you, and feel the earth supporting you. So just lie there as if you were in Shavasana at the end of a yoga class. Just relax all of your limbs, relax your neck, let your jaw go, and just lie there and feel the earth supporting you. There's something about letting the earth support you where you can let go of your responsibility and your need to take care of things and your need to control everything. And just let the earth take care of you for a minute. There's something very stress relieving about that letting go. and letting go of your thoughts, letting go of the tension in your body, letting go of the need to do anything or take care of anything, and just let yourself be held. Number 5 is another given because it's talked about a lot, but it cannot be overstated, and that is breathe. Okay, so the breath is it is the anchor to the present. For one thing, our breath is happening moment by moment in the present. So when we anchor to our breath, we can anchor into the present moment. But also, deep breathing actually triggers the parasympathetic nervous system. So that's the calming nervous system, the rest and digest aspect of the nervous system. So breathing actually kicks that into gear. If you're in a fight, flight, stressed out state, then deep breathing for a few minutes or trying to do some slow counting breaths for a minute or so can really shift your mind. And of course, that's why, people who meditate talk about anchoring yourself to the breath and counting breaths, because it gives you an anchor into the present, and it helps your body literally calm down. Number 6 would be change your location, change your situation. When we're sitting still, and a lot of us work at a desk or at a computer, or even if we just are hanging out a lot in our apartments because, we've really become accustomed to being at home more than not. So what happens though is if when we're in the same position for too long or in the same 4 walls, we tend to get kind of stuck in these habitual thinking patterns, these little cycles. And that could be, anxiety, stress, whatever it is, that we can kind of just start churning them without even noticing so much that we're churning them. But we're just kind of in this low level state of anxiety or agitation. Best way to cut that, go outside or even go into another room. If you can't go outside right now, just go into another room. Go wash a dish, go, look out the window, do something to short circuit the little mental cycle that you're in. But ideally, you would go outside because then you can connect with the outside world, which is also reorienting. Remember, like watching all the people, like, oh, hey, there are other people living their lives. It's not just me and my little head here. And if you even better would be to take a walk in a park or in an area where there's lots of nature, because, it's no secret that nature has a very calming effect on us. So if you don't have access to a park or a forest or something, no worries. Just go outside, breathe some fresh air in, look around, do some people watching, or watch some cute dogs or, animals at play, because that's always another way to get out of our heads. And the final thing I would say is just to engage your senses. We can get so kind of caught up in our little thought loops that we become disconnected from our bodies and from our senses. So let's say there's a bouquet of flowers on your table. So just go, have a nice whiff of that. Take a look at them and how beautiful they are. Or again, look out the window. Is there a bird out there? You can kind of watch for a minute. How are the trees doing? Put on some incense or burn some essential oils and really kind of let your senses be engaged that way. Or have a nice cup of herbal tea with a nice flavor to it that you really enjoy. So these simple things, and that's why, we sometimes talk about how a cup of tea is comforting, because, it's engaging your senses. It's got really nice, pleasant flavors to them, and perhaps a nice aroma as well. So it's the simple things like that, right, that can get us out of our heads and more into our bodies, more into the present moment. Because as I mentioned before, fear is based in the future about what we think might happen or what could happen, and when we're living in fear, we're living as if it's happening. We have to remind ourselves that's not happening to us right now. And when we are in a clearer frame of mind, then we're able to contribute more or better in better ways to the problems of the world, rather than just being in a state of fear and paralysis or a state of anger and agitation, which does nothing. So just a few tips in case you find yourself, kind of swimming around in uncertainty, anxiety, fear, what have you. And it's just some simple ways to just come back to earth, come back to yourself, and remember that everything is okay right now. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me, and please stop in next time. I look forward to seeing you then.